reporter Tony Kobaleski joins us after speaking one-on-one with the head of the DEA's Rocky Mountain Division today.
So, Tony, what are we learning about the criminal records of those 115 people?
Have you ever envisioned a bold military mission where over 3,000 elite U.S. soldiers take on the seemingly impenetrable criminal stronghold of the Sinaloa cartel deep in the Arizona desert? At 4:12 a.m. on June 14th, as darkness and fog cloak the area, an encrypted message from the Pentagon sets Operation Scalpel War in motion, a swift strike using MQ-9 Reaper drones. Tomahawk missiles and Abrams tanks aimed at rescuing hostages, eliminating cartel leaders and dismantling the fentanyl network. This is more than just a fight against crime. It's a strategic statement from America. How did they achieve this in just 180 minutes with no civilian casualties? Watch the video to uncover this captivating story. At 4:12 a.m. on June 14th, the Arizona desert lay cloaked in eerie darkness when the final encrypted signal from the Pentagon cut through the air, reaching naval forces stationed in the Gulf of Mexico. This triggered a campaign hailed by U.S. generals as a groundbreaking achievement in the fight against organized crime. More than 3,000 elite soldiers from the SEALs 9th Marine Corps Unit Army Special Forces and Naval Tactical Intelligence Unit were in position ready to strike. Fire support from Arleigh Burke-class destroyers M109A6, Paladin self-propelled artillery, and MQ-9 Reaper UAVs with advanced AI target recognition stood ready to unleash a devastating assault on the battlefield. Their target was the unassailable stronghold of the Sinaloa cartel, a criminal fortress concealed deep within the Arizona desert near the border, guarded by harsh rocky terrain and facing the Gulf of Mexico. This fortress boasted impenetrable concrete bunkers, a network of secret tunnels for escape routes, numerous strategic firing positions, and over 2,000 battle-hardened gunmen armed with 40mm machine guns, RPGs, shoulder-launched Stinger missiles, improvised armored vehicles, and high-tech armed speedboats. It was not just a drug organization, it was an underground army operating with the precision and sophistication of a covert nation. For years, this region was a deadly no-go zone. Local police feared approaching it, while the DEA and allied forces repeatedly failed in their efforts to dismantle the operation. International journalists who ventured too close either disappeared without a trace or were returned in sealed coffins. But everything shifted when 4 American citizens were kidnapped in Tucson, a city near the border. Satellite intelligence confirmed they were held in the cartel's command bunker, said to be smuggled across the Mexican border into the ruthless human trafficking networks of Central America. At the same time, a classified DEA report revealed the facility was a central hub for producing and exporting vast quantities of fentanyl, posing a catastrophic threat to the United States in its fight against the ongoing drug crisis. For Washington, this was no longer just a criminal matter or routine operation. The Sinaloa cartel was classified as a hostile armed force, posing a direct threat to national security. From the White House Situation Room, the president issued the go-ahead, giving precise orders: complete the mission in 720 minutes, rescue all hostages, eliminate or capture every leader, utterly dismantle the cartel's defensive and production infrastructure, and ensure there were no civilian casualties. From the command deck of the USS Baton, augmented reality screens sprang to life, highlighting each target in vivid red, accompanied by detailed 3D simulations of the cartel's tunnel network, all set for the rapid strike. Under the pitch-black night, offshore turbine engines roared with intensity. Self-propelled artillery locked onto target coordinates with a deafening growl. Helicopter blades sliced through the icy air. The elite warriors honed for this moment understood that when the clock struck 3, everything would ignite with the precision of a life-saving surgery. But this time, the heart to be saved was the lives of hundreds of innocent hostages, and the tumor to be removed was the self-proclaimed invincible criminal empire. For nearly 3 years, leading up to June 14th, the Sinaloa cartel had ceased being just a notorious gang. It had transformed into a paramilitary force with layered defenses prepared to withstand any attack. The Sinaloa cartel's advanced asymmetric warfare tactics with territorial control that rivaled that of a regular armed force had become a nightmare for authorities. Between 2022 and early 2025, at least 5 large-scale operations involving the DEAUS, Special Forces, and allied security units ended in disastrous failure. One of the earliest attempts was Operation Desert Fang in September 2022, when SEAL Team 4 and Mexican Special Forces raided a massive fentanyl warehouse on the outskirts of Tucson. However, just 10 minutes after infiltration, a convoy of cartel armored vehicles stormed in from 3 directions, unleashing precise heavy machine gun fire and RPGs, forcing the Special Forces to retreat in disarray, leaving behind equipment and shattered morale. In 2023, Operation Iron Veil became an even darker chapter in the ongoing fight. Intelligence revealed that senior Sinaloa leaders were gathering in an underground bunker complex south of Tucson. U.S. Army Special Forces with CIA support launched a dawn raid to take them down. However, upon breaching the steel bunker doors, they were caught in a deadly ambush. Machine gun fire and directional mines concealed behind false walls erupted. 3 U.S. special operators were killed instantly, and 6 others were severely wounded. Later, the CIA confirmed that the cartel leaders had fled 36 hours earlier, likely tipped off by compromised local security forces. The Sinaloa cartel didn't solely depend on superior firepower. They also leveraged the rugged terrain, a vast underground intelligence network, and community control to maintain complete dominance. They built an intricate tunnel system linking residential areas, weapons caches, drug staging points, and escape routes to the border. Border towns became buffer zones where the cartel funded schools and clinics to conceal weapons stockpiles and blend their warriors among civilians, making any assault highly likely to result in civilian casualties. Furthermore, U.S. technology was consistently thwarted. Advanced reconnaissance UAVs were jammed by smuggled electronic devices, and the harsh desert terrain, coupled with thick dust, distorted infrared signals, further complicating efforts to track their movements. During Operation Black Reef in late 2024, all U.S. UAVs lost signal for a harrowing 15 minutes, forcing ground teams to retreat in panic. The Sinaloa cartel's brutal tactics only intensified the chaos. In March 2024, a security unit discovered 15 bodies hanging at a village gate, accompanied by a chilling message: "Collaborate and die." Fear gripped the region, silencing any resistance even among families who had lost loved ones. However, the tide began to shift in May when the CIA received rare insider intelligence. 4 American citizens kidnapped in Tucson were being held in the cartel's main command bunker. This information was confirmed by multiple sources, including sharp thermal satellite imagery, pinpointing the hostages' exact location. 4 faint biometric signals were detected in an underground cell less than 40 meters from the cartel's central command room. With the risk of the hostages being smuggled to bases in Central America, where any rescue attempt would be nearly impossible, the White House ordered immediate action. The National Security Council convened in urgency while the Pentagon mobilized tactical reconnaissance and technical intelligence units. Data from Sentinel satellites and MQ-9 Reaper UAVs was relentlessly gathered, mapping a 25 square kilometer area and creating detailed 3D models of every tunnel machine gun nest and escape route. From this intelligence, Operation Scalpel War was designed for absolute precision to sever the vital arteries of the Sinaloa cartel. For 2 weeks, Special Forces rigorously trained on a 1-to-1 scale model of the bunker and desert terrain, refining their coordination of land, air, and sea firepower, all synchronized with real-time data from the USS Baton's command center. At exactly 3:00 a.m. on June 14th, the countdown clock on the USS Baton's deck hit 0. From the low clouds shrouding the Arizona desert, 10 MQ-9 Reaper UAVs silently sliced through the night, each carrying precision-programmed GBU-39/B guided bombs. In less than 30 seconds, key targets, the main communication station, 2 early warning radar clusters, and 3 massive ammunition depots were obliterated by explosions so precise they lit up the desert sky, each blast accurate to the meter. Almost simultaneously, 6 Tomahawk Block 5 missiles from the USS Hopper and USS McFall streaked in, striking 2 temporary artillery positions, an armored vehicle staging area, and a border supply route, with pinpoint precision annihilating them before the cartel could mount any defense. At 3:15 a.m., the second wave unleashed its fury. 3 LCAC hovercraft stormed the southern shore, deploying Stryker armored vehicles and M1A2 Abrams tanks, which unleashed M829A4 armor-piercing rounds that shattered the outermost defensive line within minutes. From the northern flank, Army Special Forces, working in coordination with Allied units, surged in from the mainland, cutting off all cartel escape routes and sealing hidden supply caches in nearby villages. To the west, CRRC combat boats carried Javelin teams, positioning themselves silently to take out any cartel armored vehicles that managed to slip through the blockade. The eastern sky lit up as 4 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters from the USS Baton swooped down near the command bunker, touching down at 3 pre-designated entry points. SEAL teams swiftly disembarked, neutralizing guard posts and security cameras in under 80 seconds. Despite hidden directional mines and heavy machine gun fire, the assault teams equipped with flash grenades and next-generation night vision swiftly took down entrenched fighters. At 3:45 a.m., the SEAL team breached the hostage cell. An 8-centimeter thick steel door was obliterated by shaped explosives in an instant. Combat medics quickly assessed the hostages' health-attaching personal monitoring devices that streamed data directly to the USS Baton's command center. The first group of 10 hostages, including 2 American citizens, was escorted through a secondary tunnel and rapidly evacuated by offshore support helicopters. Meanwhile, the cartel launched a desperate counterattack from the Central Market, where they had set up 12.7mm machine gun nests and deadly anti-infantry mine traps. Marines executed a sector-by-sector sweep, while Javelin teams unleashed precise firepower, obliterating enemy strongpoints with earth-shaking explosions. M109A6. Paladin artillery from the outskirts roared, launching GPS-guided M982. Excalibur rounds that obliterated cartel resistance points with pinpoint precision while leaving nearby civilian structures unharmed. To the north, Army Special Forces spotted a desperate cartel truck convoy attempting to break through the blockade. 2 AGM-114K Hellfire missiles from an MQ-9 Reaper UAV streaked down, transforming the convoy into a blazing pile of wreckage in an instant. Meanwhile, the final SEAL team successfully rescued the remaining hostages, including 2 children, escorting them safely to a helicopter pickup point. The cartel's command system was on the verge of collapse. Radio communications were completely jammed, supply lines were severed, and surviving fighters fled in panic to western bunkers. UAVs circled overhead, marking every hotspot and relaying real-time data to artillery and M1A2 Abrams tank units, transforming the cartel's retreat into a catastrophic failure with no escape. By 5:20 a.m., coalition forces had cleared a 2.5 square kilometer area around the command bunker. All resistance points had either been destroyed or surrendered in desperation. Engineer teams quickly planted explosives, demolishing drug stockpiles, weapons caches, and fentanyl production lines. Fierce flames erupted from chemical bunkers, sending thick black smoke billowing across the Arizona sky. On the USS Baton's deck, augmented reality screens illuminated, bathing the entire target area in green, signaling total victory. All hostages were safely evacuated from the combat zone with no civilian or military casualties. The units withdrew as planned, leaving the cartel's once impenetrable fortress reduced to a smoldering pile of rubble. At 6 a.m., the final encrypted message was sent to the Pentagon: objective secured. All hostages safe. Resistance neutralized. In just 3 hours from the first shot to the last helicopter's departure, the coalition had dismantled the power center of one of the world's most dangerous criminal organizations, executing a flawless operation through a devastating combination of overwhelming firepower, advanced tactics, and seamless coordination. As the first light of dawn broke over the Arizona desert, thick black smoke from the obliterated chemical warehouses continued to rise, signaling the fall of a criminal empire once thought invincible. On the deck of the USS Baton, the operation report was compiled and sent to the Pentagon. 2,300 Sinaloa cartel fighters were eliminated, 650 captured, including all senior leaders, with 6 placed on the international most wanted list for crimes against humanity. 98 critical infrastructure sites, from weapons depots, fentanyl labs, and heroin factories to bunkers hiding cash, were either destroyed or seized. The confiscated arsenal was staggering enough to equip an entire army. The seized arsenal included 1,000 assault rifles, 60 heavy machine guns, 28 shoulder-launched missile systems, hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition, and over 35 tons of drug precursor chemicals. All 40 hostages, including 4 American citizens, 2 children, and numerous women, were rescued safely and stabilized at a field hospital aboard the USS Baton. Analysis from Joint Command pointed to 3 key factors behind the resounding victory. First, superior intelligence real-time data from Sentinel satellites, MQ-9 Reaper, UAVs, and ground reconnaissance formed a detailed 3D map down to the square meter, ensuring each strike hit precisely at the cartel's critical points. Second, asynchronized multi-front assault strikes from land, air, and sea were coordinated with minute-by-minute precision, overwhelming the cartel's defenses from the start, severing supply lines and preventing command orders from reaching frontline fighters. Third, absolute fire discipline from Abrams tanks to Paladin artillery. All weapons were equipped with automated safety locks that disabled them if civilians or allies entered the kill zone, eliminating the risk of friendly fire, a first in prior campaigns. For the Sinaloa cartel, this was a devastating strategic blow, crippling their entire network. With the loss of leaders, command centers, weapons caches, and finances, their power was entirely paralyzed. Intelligence gathered from seized hard drives, documents, and communication devices provided crucial leads for a series of relentless raids on Sinaloa's affiliates across the U.S., Central America, and Europe. A DEA report revealed that within 48 hours of the operation, numerous plazas, drug transshipment hubs, were either abandoned or taken over by rival groups, costing Sinaloa hundreds of millions of dollars in monthly revenue. The domino effect spread swiftly in Colombia, Peru, and West Africa. Allied criminal organizations scrambled to destroy stockpiles and halt transport routes to avoid becoming the next target of America's crackdown. A report from Europe indicated that a smuggling branch in Spain disbanded in a state of panic. Just days after news of the operation spread, the remaining cartel members fled in panic to South America. Fear spread as quickly as the headlines. Cartels now understood that the U.S. was willing to deploy military forces at a wartime level to protect its citizens and dismantle transnational threats. Strategically, the Pentagon saw this operation as a groundbreaking model for hybrid warfare against non-state entities that were organized and armed like conventional armies. An internal report highlighted that surgical strikes had become the new standard, blending speed, overwhelming firepower, and absolute precision to achieve maximum impact with minimal losses. This was the first large-scale anti-crime operation to achieve 3 historic benchmarks: short duration, absolute success, and 0 civilian or military casualties. However, experts caution that this victory is not the end of the threat. Surviving fighters and networks could reorganize, merge with other criminal groups, or shift to more sophisticated forms of crime. As a result, follow-up operations have been planned, including special task force missions to hunt down fugitive leaders, disrupt illicit financial flows through underground banking networks, and collaborate with international allies to dismantle overseas branches. The Sinaloa cartel once arrogantly believed that the treacherous desert terrain, their vast arsenal, and civilian shields would make them invincible. But in just 180 minutes, that belief was reduced to smoke along with their so-called impregnable fortress, leaving a bitter lesson for criminal organizations worldwide when America decides to strike. No bunker is deep enough, no wall is strong enough, and no time is long enough to wait for rescue. The operation to dismantle the Sinaloa cartel on the morning of June 14th was not just a decisive military victory, but a strategic declaration by the United States to the world. In exactly 180 minutes, over 3,000 elite soldiers from the SEALs, Marines, Army, Special Forces, and Tactical Intelligence Unit coordinated flawlessly to crush a criminal empire once considered untouchable. With flawless coordination, the U.S. military unleashed precise firepower from MQ-9 Reaper UAVs Tomahawk Block, 5 missiles, Paladin artillery, Abrams tanks, and multi-front assaults, completely obliterating the Sinaloa cartel's once impervious criminal fortress. Every detail demonstrated superior capability: 3D target mapping from Sentinel satellite data, automated safety locks that prevented civilian casualties, and perfect synchronization of land, air, and sea forces accurate to the second. The successful rescue of all 40 hostages with no civilian or military casualties powerfully proves that overwhelming strength can coexist with absolute fire discipline. To the American public, this operation stands as undeniable proof that the life of every citizen, no matter where they are, is a red line the nation will defend with its full might. For leaders, it sets a new standard for hybrid warfare against non-state entities requiring a combination of advanced technology, razor-sharp intelligence, and unwavering political resolve. For adversaries, it serves as a chilling warning: no treacherous terrain, vast arsenal, or civilian shield can protect them when America decides to act. Operation Scalpel War in Arizona offers a powerful lesson: the strength of meticulous preparation and precise coordination can overcome even the most formidable adversaries. By utilizing satellite intelligence, detailed 3D mapping, multi-front firepower, and automated safety locks to prevent civilian casualties, this campaign demonstrates that a combination of advanced technology, military discipline, and political resolve can dismantle transnational threats. The lesson for us is clear: when facing challenges, no matter how daunting, thorough preparation and synchronized action are always the keys to success. And that's how Operation Scalpel War shook the criminal world, reducing the Sinaloa cartel's impregnable Arizona fortress to ashes in just 180 minutes, rescuing 40 hostages without a single civilian casualty. The overwhelming might of the U.S. military, from precise 3D mapping to synchronized firepower, sent a clear message: no enemy is invincible. What do you think of this operation? Do you support this hardline approach, or do you believe a different solution is needed? Leave the number 2 if you support it, or 5 if you disagree, and share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to catch more thrilling stories.